Drafting worldwide, wide. So I'm just going back into this double hung family, window family, selected the 34 by 36, and then I'm renaming it to 36 by 36, adding it to that group, and I make my width 3 feet and my height 3 feet. I say OK, and now I can choose my window double hung 36 by 36. I'm going to put one there, and I'm going to put one here. Actually, I'm going to break the rules. I'm going to buy one more, and I'm going to put 2 on this side. So once again, I have to dimension these windows. So these windows are not going to be in my down into my foundation that's sticking up, that 4 inches of block sticking up at the bottom. So I don't even have to worry about whether these are modularly spaced or not. The door I do. So I'm going to throw some dimensions on here, the aligned dimensions, make sure face core selected, and I'm going to do this first, and I'm going to ignore the windows altogether for right now. Bring them out here, and I'm going to make this 2'8" instead, which is modular. Moves a little bit that way, and I end up with 24'4" there. So this ends up having to be not modular. So what I'd end up doing is I'd probably make the door frame, the opening, 3'4" and fill it in, or I might have to just cut block there. So that's basically as good as I can get it there. So I'm fine with that. So then the next thing I can do is I need to place these windows. So right now, if I throw a dimension on these windows, I want to dimension these windows to the center of the window. And if I just randomly throw some dimensions on there, it's a very odd spacing. So what I really want to do is I want to break up the distance between the door and the face of the wall. I want to break that into 3 equal spaces. So I'm going to select this dimension. I'm going to come up here to Edit Witness Line, and I'm going to add that, the end of my door, to it, and then I'm just going to click off there. And once again, I'm going to find that little EQ button, equal, and I'm going to say equal. Now I can click it again and equal again, and you notice that this becomes a very strange number because they're 3 equal, and it's 8'1" and 11/32. So the contractor is going to look at that on the drawing and say, come on, man, really? Why are you making me have these very strange dimensions? Why don't you just make it 8'2"? So what I would do a lot of times would be this. I would select this, and my dimension's not changing for some reason. So I'm going to try this once again, and I'm going to delete that. I'm going to dimension to the center of that window, and I'm going to select the window, and it's not working. So I'm just going to do it this way. I'm going to bump it this way until I hit 8'2". So it's going right past it, so I'm just going to zoom in until I get to the point, zoom in on this, and get to the point where I can make this 8'2". Not sure why it won't let me select that at this point. You can see I'm getting to the point where I can't see it anymore. So I'm going to do another little trick where I'm going to take this scale and I'm going to bump it all the way up to something like 6 inches equals a foot, make my text very small, and select that window, zoom in on this, and just move it zoomed in a little bit too far. Change the scale to 1.5 inches, maybe. Click on this window, zoom in. Real close, zoom in a little bit more. And what it does is it works with your zoom, the increments that it changes it. So now I have an 8-foot. Shouldn't have had to do all that. Should have been able to just click on the window and then select the dimension. But that wasn't working. So I'm going to do the same thing here. One more time, you'll get to see this. I could also mirror it. I'm going to do it this way. So select that, drop it, pick that window, and start. I'm just hitting my arrow key on my keyboard. Get it real close, zoom in. Get it close, zoom in. A little bit more. Got it to 8. Delete that. Come back, set my scale back to 1/4. Inch equals a foot. And the last thing, the last part of this lesson is to show you how to dimension these. So whenever I am dimensioning openings in a wooden framed or steel stud framed building, I dimension the openings to the center of the opening. So I would just do this. I'm going to come in here and I'm also going to add this one. So right there, that happens to be in the center. I place it there and I bring this dimension in nice and tight. This one I already have it started, so I can click on that dimension. I can edit witness line and I can add to it. And I always complete the string. I always go from one wall to the other so that I can add all these up and I should get this value here. Do the same thing here. It completes the string. Over here, I would have this, and this one. Drop that. So that is representing my openings, and this one is representing my overall dimension. So I only need 2 strings of dimensions. In the next lesson, we'll go through and I'll show you how to dimension in this basically this one with building offsets.